In a Europe scarred by war, where the echoes of artillery and the memories of shattered lives linger in every street, a new chapter is being written. Hope emerges from the Berlin peace talks, a proposal for a multinational force to secure Ukraine, a plan that could reshape the continent's future. Years of conflict have left millions displaced, families torn apart, and alliances across Europe tested and reshaped by the relentless tide of war. But this initiative marks the most significant step yet toward ending the war, a moment when signatures on paper might finally translate into hope on the ground. The world watches, aware that the stakes could not be higher. For Ukraine, this is a lifeline, a chance to reclaim safety and sovereignty. For Europe, it is a test of unity and resolve, a measure of whether old divisions can be set aside for a common cause. For the world, it is a signal about the future of global order and whether collective action can overcome aggression and chaos. Ukrainian President Zelensky calls the talks difficult but productive, emphasizing the courage and determination of his people in the face of adversity. Meanwhile, the Kremlin signals cautious openness, even as fighting rages on the front lines, and uncertainty clouds every diplomatic advance. The Berlin proposal stands as a beacon, a blueprint for security guaranteed by a coalition, not the unpredictable whims of an aggressor, offering a new model for peacekeeping in a fractured world. It asks a fundamental question: can diplomacy, when backed by credible force and international resolve, finally prevail over violence and fear? The coming days will determine if this fragile hope can become lasting peace, or if the world must brace for more uncertainty and sorrow. Tonight, as lights flicker in cities across the globe, the world holds its breath, waiting for history to turn. The Berlin proposal's weight is rooted in a decade of bloodshed, from the Maidan Revolution to Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. Failed peace efforts and shifting alliances left Ukraine fighting a brutal war of attrition, with the world's supply chains and economies strained. Each diplomatic failure hardened positions, making a negotiated settlement seem impossible. Now, exhaustion and shifting politics, especially in Washington, have opened a fragile window for diplomacy. The leaders in Berlin carry the burden of history, tasked with crafting the first credible, enforceable security guarantee for Ukraine. The stakes: succeed where all others have failed. Berlin, once a symbol of division and the epicenter of Cold War tensions, now stands transformed. A city reborn from its fractured past. Today, it hosts a summit that aspires to unity, drawing the eyes of the world to its historic streets. Here, European leaders, NATO, the EU, and US envoys gather alongside President Zelensky, their presence underscoring the gravity and urgency of this pivotal moment in history. Optimism is high. US officials report that 90% of the issues dividing Kyiv and Moscow have been resolved, a breakthrough few dared to imagine just months ago. The emerging deal is bold. Ukraine would set aside its immediate NATO ambitions in exchange for robust, ironclad Western security guarantees, while Russia may accept Ukraine's path toward EU membership, a compromise shaped by necessity and hope. For Europe, this is about securing the continent's future and preventing further instability on its borders. For the United States, it represents a significant foreign policy victory and a chance to reinforce transatlantic unity. For Ukraine, it is nothing less than a fight for survival and sovereignty. This rare alignment of interests, where the goals of East and West, old adversaries and new allies, converge, makes peace feel, for the first time in years, truly within reach. The world watches with bated breath as a grand bargain, once thought impossible, begins to take shape before our eyes. In this moment, the impossible now seems possible, and hope flickers anew on the world stage. At the heart of Berlin's ambitious new plan lies a bold vision: the creation of a European-led multinational force designed to fundamentally reshape the security landscape for Ukraine and the region. This isn't just another peacekeeping mission. Instead, it's a robust, integrated military shield, bringing together troops, resources, and expertise from across Europe to stand firmly with Ukraine in its hour of need. The force's mission is threefold: to secure Ukraine's vulnerable airspace, protect vital Black Sea shipping corridors, and help rebuild the country's battered military infrastructure, ensuring Ukraine can defend itself now and in the future. The security guarantees echo the spirit of NATO's Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all. But these commitments are carefully tailored to address Ukraine's unique security challenges and realities. Having learned hard lessons from the failures of the Budapest Memorandum, Ukraine is adamant that these new promises must be ironclad and legally binding, not just diplomatic gestures or vague assurances. The force will be backed by strong US support and a dedicated ceasefire verification team, creating a layered, multi-tiered security system that combines military strength with diplomatic oversight. Crucially, Ukraine will maintain a powerful peacetime military, trained and equipped to ensure both self-defense and credible deterrence against future threats. This comprehensive framework offers Ukraine real, tangible protection, security that is enforced on the ground, visible in daily life, and not just written on paper. The path to peace is blocked by the thorniest issue: territory. The US urges Ukraine to consider ceding parts of Donbass for peace. Kyiv prefers freezing current lines, deferring final decisions. Russia refuses any concessions, leaving Ukraine caught between public demands and diplomatic pressure. Security guarantees must be ironclad for any compromise to be possible. Meanwhile, a new international claims commission seeks justice for war damages, with the EU debating using frozen Russian assets for Ukraine's recovery. These legal and financial mechanisms are vital, but also contentious. Trust, so hard to build, will decide if peace holds or falters. Behind the Berlin talks are stark numbers. Ukraine's future military, 800,000 strong. 11 European nations backing the security plan. 80,000 plus war damage claims. The EU's initial funding for reparations is just a start as the economic toll mounts. Violence continues. Russia launches drone swarms. Ukraine strikes back. Each attack a reminder of the war's cost. The EU debates unlocking billions from frozen Russian assets for reconstruction. These figures, troops, claims, attacks, are the hard currency of peace and war. The outcome will be measured not just in words, but in lives and resources. By day, Berlin's diplomats talk peace. By night, Ukraine endures drone attacks and blackouts. Russia negotiates with one hand, strikes with the other, targeting energy infrastructure to pressure Kyiv. Zelensky accuses Moscow of weaponizing winter, aiming to force concessions through suffering. Ukraine fights back, striking Russian assets and proving its resilience. This dual reality, diplomacy and destruction, defines the fragile moment. Western intelligence warns Russia is using talks as cover for chaos. Cyber attacks, disinformation, sabotage. Trust is elusive when peace talks mask ongoing aggression. The world must see through the fog of war to build real security. The stakes, peace or perpetual peril. Analysts call the multinational force a creative solution, sidestepping the NATO impasse and offering real deterrence. Success depends on clear rules and unwavering political will. The International Claims Commission is a milestone for justice, but using frozen Russian assets is fraught with legal and financial risks. Military experts warn of logistical challenges and the risk of direct confrontation. A massive Ukrainian army will need sustained international support. The biggest fear, that territorial concessions could set a dangerous precedent, rewarding aggression. The Berlin proposal is a high-wire act, promising but perilous. The Berlin proposal has opened a door to peace that once seemed sealed. It offers Ukraine security, justice, and a chance to rebuild. But the hardest work lies ahead. Every drone strike and act of sabotage threatens to unravel fragile trust. Success would reaffirm the principles of sovereignty and international law. Failure would embolden future aggressors. This is about more than geopolitics. It's about families, soldiers, and refugees longing for home. The world must summon the will to turn hope into reality. The Berlin proposal is the best chance yet for a just peace. The world's resolve will decide if this hope endures.